Hello everybody and welcome back. Today we got the dev diaries for both Afghanistan and Iraq. Now some of you might have noticed that I didn't cover the British Raj's alternate history one, and that's because I was having some problems recording. I actually had a little bit of issue getting this one started, but I think I fixed that. So hopefully I'll be able to cover the old history British Raj one in a later date. With the beginning, I skimmed through this. This is talking about they were taking in some feedback on the Silk Road Empire path from the British Raj Dev Diary, which, if you haven't seen, it was a little weird and a lot of people weren't necessarily happy with it. So we'll see what they mentioned, something about some changes to it and whatever. So we'll see what that is, if it's in this Dev Diary or wherever. But without further ado, let's actually get down to it. And remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And let's see. So we have Afghanistan, which is... let's see. First, we have one of the most intriguing overlooked nations in HOI4, Afghanistan, known as the Graveyard of Empires. Afghanistan sits at the crossroads of Asia, surrounded by powerful neighbors with competing interests. In Graveyard of Empires, Afghanistan gets a brand new focus tree that offers players an array of historical and alternative paths, all while grappling with the nation's unique challenges, unstable politics, and external pressures, and a rugged landscape that's as much an obstacle as it is a defense. Let's dive into what makes the mountainous nation tick. Ooh, having a rough time with some of those words for some reason. So I guess this is the overview of the whole tree. It's not exactly the best image, not really high quality, but we can see what we can see. So from here, this looks like it's all shared, maybe? Like, it doesn't look like it's blocked off or anything. And that's dealing with the Soviet Union versus, I guess, maybe Britain. This looks like industry and research. That's cool research. I like that the research slot has its flags. I hope if that's a new thing that they're doing for all nations, because I love when I would love them to change the researches to have the country's flag on it for all of them. That might be a lot of icons to update, but it'd be cool. Then it goes into this looks like communist with maybe something with territorial expansion. There's a war going on Iran, I guess. This looks all communist kind of stuff. We go over here. That looks like the monarchy, I think. Maybe picking between rival factions or something. This one goes down and it's like an anti-fascist. It might be pro-British. I can't tell if that's anti or pro. This is shared stuff. Then we go down here. I don't know. Again, this is pretty hard. We'll see with some zoomed in sections. Looks like this stuff goes hand in hand. That's a war going on Sinkang, it looks like. That's like a Turkish, like the Turan or whatever people. I'm not sure. That's like probably something to do with Muslims, maybe? I don't know. Again, not really good quality. This one looks more like a military dictatorship, maybe? Because like we go down here and it looks like a lot of war goals, or like a Saddam pack, Iraq. Yeah, that looks like into the Arabian Peninsula. And over here, war goals again. That's the British Raj. That's the Soviet Union. Then we got, this is that's more war goal. What? We're getting even more. That looks like more war goals. Here, this is industry, like army and stuff. I don't know. Let's continue on. Can't really tell what they're doing with that. So let's go with the King Zahir, a balancing act. If you choose to keep Afghanistan on its historical trajectory, your goal is to maintain neutrality while avoiding the unwanted attention of both the British Raj and the Soviet Union. It's not an easy task. Both neighbors see Afghanistan as a key piece to their great game of influence. Yeah, Afghanistan was like the great game between the Russian Empire and the British Empire back in the day. So let's see if we have a much clearer picture. Yes. So we got... Here we go. Biding our time versus expand the king's power base. Alright, so this is more of an absolute monarchy versus, like... This is probably the more historic section, I guess. Visit foreign capitals. Introduce national service. Expand royal guard. So that's probably to do with, like, political power and maybe, like, recruitable population, maybe some free divisions. Let's go with the biding our time. Secure German investment or British investment. Makes sense. Construction of the dam. So they're continuing on with like the dam features. That's cool. Secure the dynasty. Maintain neutrality. Expel Axis nationals. Expel allied nationals. Alright, so this is the strict neutrality. This is probably the historic path, I would wager. Alright, expand the king's power base. Retire the uncles. Okay. Promote the promote the counter elite. He who puts his trust in God. Parliamentary democracy. Hold elections. Education reforms. Reforms. Geez, I'm struggling. recruit foreign experts, seek American aid, rapprochement with non-partisans, defending the nation, concessions to Pashtuns, curtail anti-democratic influence, declare a republic, Sinkang intervention, followers of Islam, an Islamic democracy. What? This is a bit different than I thought it would be. Okay. All right, let's continue on. The historical path focuses on threading the needle diplomatically. You'll work to modernize the state just enough to strengthen it without alarming the Soviets or British into intervening. Build up a defensive military, negotiate trade agreements, and play the long game. Survive the war intact, and you might just emerge as a stronger, more united Afghanistan ready to step onto post-war stage. However, this branch also has options to depart from the historical trajectory by strengthening the young king Zahir Shah at the expense of his power-hungry uncles. Yeah, declare a republic. More than 50% support. So this is a democratic path under the monarchist path. Remove King Zahir Shah, which grants political power of 5%, 10% stability, daily support for online. Gets event the future of Afghanistan. We will be able to choose a new identity for our nation, which may alter what is considered our core states and may add new ideas. Okay, that's different. So it looks like the king will be a national spirit. Makes sense. Probably most of these countries will have a king spirit, just because I believe they're all monarchies at the time. So that makes sense, but this is different. This enables Afghanistan to move towards parliamentary democracy or even a republic, depending on choices made. Throughout this path, the establishment of a republic can allow Afghanistan to gain cores on more territory or transform into a new nation, such as Pashtunistan. What? I've never heard of Pashtunistan. It looks like it's with parts of modern day Pakistan. You get a coast. This is cool. Yeah. I can vibe with this. This makes sense for Pakistan. I don't know, like, let me rephrase that. This makes sense for, like, a gameplay perspective. I don't know how much, like, historic sense it makes. I'm not very informed on the region, especially in this time period. But this makes sense, at least gameplay-wise, of what you would do as a democracy. / like, more king power. Like, this makes sense to me, at least gameplay-wise. Alright, here's the industry branch. Afghanistan industry branch is a delicate balancing act. On one hand, you have a rising middle class and reformers who demand modernization, factories, railroads, and central government capable of governing effectively. On the other hand, the rural elite and tribal leaders expect the status quo to remain. Fierce opposition, any changes that threaten the power of traditions. Ooh, I like that icon. That's cool. Clear the material swamps. Ooh, I like the ram one. I like a lot of the icons. If you guys don't know, I do like cool art, like just little focus icons. Like that's why I went on a little bit about the flags on it. I like the different stuff. It looks cool. Clear the swamp, the dam, Valley Authority, some resources, modern economy. That makes sense. This is with infrastructure, research. This is probably maybe research speed and like trains, expand military industries. I like this. Fruit processing. I like that. Sugar factory, wool, and then you look to other partners or renew Soviet trade agreement. Offer 75-year oil concessions. So that's probably giving up oil rights for buff. Ministry of Supply, the Afghanistan Bank, a socialist coup. Ooh. Oh, okay. Oh, get a little ahead of ourselves. As new universities are established, giving the player extra tech slots, the graduates will expect jobs. Otherwise, they will turn to alternative ideologies. Man, I'm having a struggle today. Okay. Ideologies in the form of ticking national spirit, boosting parties opposed to the current government. That's interesting. That's a cool way that you can change like ideology and stuff. Offer a graduate job in civil service, at public education, blah, blah. This is interesting. Depending on how this works. I'm not a downer on anything until I see how it works. Like, if I see a problem, I'll point it out, but unless I see a reason to not do something, I'm cool with anything. We'll see how this works out, if it's too much micro-intensive with the political power, how it works out, but I'm cool with it as it stands. We'll see if it works or not. Good, we actually get to see some of the stuff with the socialist coup. Failure to accommodate the needs of the graduates or the royal populace can establish even further escalate even further, especially if Afghanistan has taken industrial aid from the Soviet Union. To succeed, you'll need to navigate these conflicting interests carefully, alienate the traditionalists, or you risk plunging the nation into civil unrest. Ignore the reformers, and the country's economy will stagnate, leaving you ill-prepared for challenges of the modern world. Striking the right balance will be key to building a strong, stable Afghanistan capable of weathering the storms of the 20th century. Socialist coup. Soviet aid, international brigades, Soviet research cooperation, state atheism, support Soviets in Asia. Topple the Shah of Iraq, so that's a cool work. Develop Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, and Tajikistan. Central Asian unification. Ooh. And this is in the industrial branch? Like, yeah, because that's right there. That would, if we go back up to the, I'm gonna tab this out into a new tab. Let's see, where is that? Oh no, it's over here. Oh, okay, so it's still part of the, yeah. Okay, so this is interesting. And it looks like you can, if you go down this path, you can go to this. And this, and it's like not mutually exclusive. I wonder how that'll work out. I'm intrigued. Okay, this is very different. Looks like they kind of skimped a little bit on like the historic, because it makes sense. Afghanistan didn't do anything that I'm aware of. Like, they were kind of just sitting there, so it makes sense that they're putting more focus into this area. Makes total sense. Like, when you're a nation that the historic didn't do anything part of the war, kind of makes sense. You focus on other stuff. I like this, depending on how it works. Again, I will not dog it unless it doesn't work well. Alright, let's get back to where we were. We skipped up. Okay. Yeah. Red Revolution, the communist path. On the opposite end of the spectrum lies the communist path. Here, Afghanistan leans into its proximity to the Soviet Union and stages a workers' revolution to overthrow the monarchy. With Soviet backing, you'll focus on restructuring the nation in a socialist state, collectivizing agriculture, and using Soviet expertise to industrialize rapidly. As a successful communist Afghanistan can join the Comintern, spreading the revolution across South Asia. As a reward, you'll be securing your Central Asia for the communist cause. Afghanistan can take control of Soviet states in Central Asia and form a new communist state in the mountainous region. Socialist Republic of Central Asia. Okay. It's got a little wacky borders because that's a pretty straight line, but it makes sense. It looks cool. And then you can go to war with Iran, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, and then like it'd be easier to go to with Sincan because now you have a wider front. Alright. A return of Khan. We'll just go with Khan because I am going to struggle with names. What if Afghanistan didn't settle for neutrality? What if Mr. Khan, the reformist monarch who was overthrown in 1929, returned to power with a vengeance? In this path, you'll work to restore his throne, rally the country around his vision of modernity, and take Afghanistan in a radical new direction. Okay, so this is a fascist monarchist path, kind of like how Poland has the Kazakh king. Cool. I like that when they do that kind of stuff. Like, yeah, it's another monarchy, but it's slightly different. Okay, so here's this path. All right, request German support, secure the army support, return the king, revise the constitution, educate for women and girls, factories and rural stuff, establish that. Shadows of the King. Go down here, we get agreement with the German Reich, work with the German intelligence. From the ashes, topple Iran, exploit Turco-Persian heritage, secure Baghdad, savior of the Holy Lands. And over here, Eyes of the North, renounce the Duryan line, fortify the border, push into the Indian plains. Okay, so that's dealing with India. Alliance with the Turkic people, the Red Threat, Pashtushan ascendancy. Okay. And none of it's mutually exclusive except for this with topple Iran versus exploit Turco-Persian heritage. I wonder what that does. Because obviously this is going to get you a war goal, and then you get one on Baghdad. Is it like making an alliance with Turkey and then joint invading Iran maybe? We'll have to see. Because if it's not, then I would always take the Iran. But we'll see. This looks good. I don't see any complaints from it yet. In order to restore Khan to the throne, players will have to rally support from the opposed and the current regime and potentially sway Germany in supporting you. When the time is right, Khan will need to use his support to violently overthrow the government in a civil war. Okay, so it's a guaranteed civil war. Not always a fan of that, but it depends on how good the path is. But modernization comes at a cost. To industrialize a nation, you'll need to crush traditional opposition and whip the economy into shape. His reforms will bring social upheaval, bringing from building factories and cities to empowering women and expanding education. An effort that will alienate rural elite and test the patience with the clergy. We went through this. Once industrialized and militarized, Afghanistan can align itself with the Axis, contributing in the way to war effort, expanding influence in Central Asia at the expense of the Soviet Union, or push south and dominate the Indian subcontinent. Or, it doesn't look like there's an or, but is there an or? We'll have to see. Military tradition, levy versus professional army. Okay, so Afghanistan military training offers two distinct paths. Will you maintain the traditional levy-based army that draws up local tribes and their age-old knowledge of guerrilla warfare? Or will you modernize, creating a professional standing army equipped with artillery, tanks, and aircraft? Let's take a look. Yep. So this is kind of like Ethiopia, like with the Chitets. Maybe not so extreme, but like, yep, we got this. Asymmetrical warfare, blah, blah, blah. Looks alright. Then you got these shared. These are also shared. Makes sense. That's cool. Then you got the modern army, which got this. And then the navy, which, I mean, I guess that makes sense that, like, if you're doing this, you're probably doing this is probably more AI based. It probably will have some good bonus, but I'm assuming this is the one we'll probably pick. But we'll see. The Devi Plus defensive warfare, and it's perfect for players who want to hold up against more powerful foes in Afghanistan's territory. More professionalized, more playable offense, but modernized, requires major investment in infrastructure, industry, and training. Both have their advantages, and choose the right will depend on challenge. Makes sense. Defense versus offense, and we're probably going to be doing a lot of offense. So yeah, this is more of the historic. Makes sense. Afghanistan might not be the biggest player in the world. The world changes, but its unique challenges and opportunities make it a fascinating nation to lead in Hearts of Iron 4, whether you choose to maintain its neutrality. Blah, blah, blah. Cool. Alright, so we have some Raj changes, which I brought up. They were talking about that. We've implemented some changes to the Raj's alt history branch following feedback to the previous dev diary, so let's take a quick detour from Afghanistan to see what's changed. Can't click the picture. I don't remember looking to the past. This might be different. As you can see, the Mughal branch has changed structure somewhat. After breaking away from Raj in a war of independence, you will start off as a lonesome princely state. After this, you choose what you want to rule, how you want to rule your new state. This will include the opponents promote historical heir of the empire. Furthermore, we also enforce strict rules for who can lead the only non-Hindu princes. Okay. We have two paths you can take in this branch: embracing Mughal heritage and becoming a new Mughal empire, and striving to unite the Indian subcontinent under your rule, as we discussed last week, or striking north and west and to form a resurrected Timurid empire. Ooh, nice! We actually get the Timurids. That was something people were talking about, that we didn't really have the Timurid empire. But yeah, so that's good. The Timurid path allows you to move the capital into Afghanistan and promote the expansion into former Timurid territories in Central Asia. Iran, Turkey, and Iraq, including this path, is an option to expand the Silk Road access to new railway lines. Okay, so the Silk Road's not going to be as weird. Makes sense. Road investments, blah, blah, blah. Alright. I like this. Good little change feedback. You gotta give Paradox prop when they do stuff right. Because if you don't, then they have no incentive to do anything right. So, props to this. I like this a lot better than the other one. I was okay with the other one. I thought it was funky and weird, and I like funky and weird. But I think this was a better choice. Alright, moving down into Iraq. So next up, we set our sights on the nation caught in a whirlwind of great power policy, blah, blah, blah. Receives new dynamic force tree, allows players to shape the Hashemite monarchy. Alright, let's open a new tab. Okay, let's see what we can grab from this. This is industrial. Ooh, yes! They are keeping flags across it. I like that. I'm a flag nerd. I like flags on stuff. Okay, so this is like research and development and stuff like that. You see American investment, blah, blah. That looks like maybe oil. This might be like trading. Okay, this is army, clearly. Then we have... is that a Kurdish path? That might be a Kurdish path. Then over here we have another choice. We have this, which a lot of focus icons aren't here, so I can't really tell. That looks expansionist. You can see the little arrows. Spain. Is this like the Moors? Or like, not the Moors. It might be the Moors, like the Umayyad Caliphate? Can't really tell what this is. That looks like joining the Allies and maybe like forming territory, like kind of like Turkey, how you can get territory that way. That's the Golden Square coup. Joining the Axis makes sense. Over here, that's a war. That looks like Syria, like for Syria invasion. You got Turkey, this Iraq. Joining with the Kurds, maybe. Going against that's Syria. That's Afghanistan. Partnership with Afghanistan against the British, against Lebanon. Yeah, I think Lebanon has the tree on it. All right, I'm intrigued. We'll scooch this one over. Okay. Will you secure Britain's favor and build a Hashemite empire? Will you break free from imperial control and forge a regional alliance? Or will you embrace radical nationalism and set the Arab world aflame? The choice is yours. The Hashemite gamble, a crown exchange for change. For chains. Okay. Iraq's Hashemite monarchy exists in a precarious position. Installed by the British in the aftermath of the First World War, it must balance between maintaining legitimacy at home and keeping the favor of its foreign patrons. Walking its tightrope offers both risk and rewards. So, before we get into that, I like that we're having these kind of like tiptoe roads with like Afghanistan and Iraq. Because they are not full, like they're gotten to deal with these big empires surrounding, especially Iraq. So it makes sense they have to kind of balance how they're treating stuff. I like that. So we get a better look at this one. Alright, rally behind the Hashemite dynasty, increase Anglo-Iraq economic ties, RAF levies, assassination of Bakar, someone, eliminate the Golden Scare, embargo the Axis, support Allied effort in the war, protectors of the Gulf, Allied training, and then over here, reach out to Jordan, regional military integration, demand Palestine, commander of the faithful, restoration of Hejaz, that's into Saudi Arabia, propose Syrian unification, strengthen the prime minister's powers, Hashemite Arab Federation versus a new caliph. Unite the Maghreb, restore El Andalus. Okay, so that isn't like an Umayyad caliphate. And then here's the Hashemite Arab Federation, and then expand the federation membership. Yeah, because this makes sense because like I think the king of Jordan even to today is from the Hashemite dynasty. Like I know like they were trying to form like the Hashemite empire in that area, which renegotiate Anglo-Iraq treaty. That looks good. I don't see complaints yet. Let's go down. If you choose to cozy up to London, you'll gain economic and military support in exchange for certain adjustments to your sovereignty. Being independent. Fuck it. I can't say it. Gradual territorial concession agreements on oil will ensure a steady flow of British investments, arming and industrializing Iraq under a watchful eye of the empire. Anglo Mutual Defense Agreement. That's pretty strong. United Kingdom attack bonus against country. And we get a guarantee. Okay. I mean, that looks. I don't see. I mean, we'll have to see what the bad downside. However, this road does not have to end in subservience. With careful diplomacy and statecraft, Iraq can leverage British support to expand Hashemite rule, either through a creation of a Hashemite federation that unites Iraq and Transjordan, or by pursuing an even more ambitious vision, the restoration of the Hashemite Caliphate, using British backing to lay claim to leadership of the Islamic world. Iraq will be known as the Hashemite Caliphate, gains the Caliph, 10%. Ooh, this is strong. Justify. Ooh. Yeah. I like it. That's strong. I like this. That, like, you can negotiate where, like, you can still be on Britain's side and make the empire in the Middle East that it's kind of like with some concessions of oil and stuff, but like you're joining Britain's side, but also still able to expand. I like that. It's not you have to go against Britain no matter what to do anything fun. I like that. We'll see how it works in practice, but I like that. Of course, the longer British troops remain in Iraq, the more resentment will fester among the people. Can you keep the monarchy secure, or will the streets of Baghdad boil over with nationalist fury? Okay, so you're balancing like how much concessions you give to the British will make your population upset. If you concede too much, they might coup you, and that's Golden Scare coup. I like that kind of if that's how that's actually working. I like that. You got to balance how much you let happen, and if you balance it right, you can do some fun stuff. I like that kind of stuff. The problem with Switzerland is that you have to balance a lot of shit, and it's not very fun. That's the big problem. It's like, yeah, you're balancing all these things, and like only one path is fun. And that's like the Alpine Empire, and even then, it's only kind of fun. All right, coup of that guy, Bakar. For those who see Iraq's reliance on British as a change rather than an opportunity, there's another path: the military coup of the general. Historically, Iraq's first modern military dictator represents a new direction for the country. Okay, so this is that middle path. Yeah, the coup, import from Italy. Yeah, attempt to assassinate. All right, then you get a decision: Pan-Arabianism or the Golden Square. Strengthen the Golden Square. Yeah, revoke the treaty, join the Axis, form the Arab League, Economic Council of the Arab League, seek access. Excuse me, jeez. Makes sense here. We have join the Axis, Arab League, whatever this is. Request Syria. Makes sense. I mean, that's from Vichy France. So, does Vichy France, I guess, will keep control of those puppets? Maybe? I don't know. We'll have to see how that works out. Rally the Arab world. Regime change in Arabia. Free Arabian legions. Iran ultimatum. Liberate the Levant. Liberate North Africa. Proclaim a united Arab republic. And so that's all with the Golden Square. And then we have Pan-Arabianism. Strengthen relations with Iran, with Turkey. Encourage federalism. Rapprochement with tribes. Anti-Western alliance. Afghanistan. Carve up Syria. Status of Lebanon. Take advantage of the situation. Greater Iraq. Ooh. These all look good. I don't see complaints so far. We'll have to see how these work out, but I see no complaints. By backing his coup, you can turn Iraq into an independent and militarized power, rejecting foreign interference in favor of forging an alliance with Turkey and Iran. The two other regional powers, wary of British and Soviet ambitions, together these nations can stand united against imperialist forces, ensuring their survival in the world dominated by global giants. We looked at that. Makes sense. I like that, like the fists. Yeah, I like some of these. I like, and then the Lebanese flag and like the cool Vichy French flag. I'm a little flag nerd. Alright, this path requires careful diplomacy and willingness to challenge British influence while avoiding outright war until you are ready. If played correctly, Iraq can become a dominant force in the Middle East without being anyone's pawn. See, balancing act. I like it. If you make them too mad, they'll fuck with you. But if you don't, you can build up. I like it. I hate when it's like very a very like centralized where like they just you do something and no one cares. So coup of Pan-Arabian Rex. Then again, why stop and simply kick the British out when you can set the entire Arabian world on fire? Supporting the Golden Square, a group of radical officers inspired fascism in Arabia. Blah blah blah. History of the coup led to Iraq into a short-lived war with Britain, but with the right moves, you can turn into something much greater. Now we already looked at that. By throwing your lot with the Axis, you can rally the Arab world against imperialist powers, using German support to launch military campaigns aimed at unifying the Middle East under Iraq rule. With enough ambition and firepower, let you redraw the map entirely, casting aside the artificial borders left behind by the colonial powers. However, the enemies you make along the way will not be taken lightly. You survive the wrath of the British, the Turks, the Persians, long enough to build... Oh, my bad. Hit back. Alright. Black and gold industry, the future of Iraq. Regardless of which path you take, one thing remains true. Iraq sits atop the world's most valuable resource in the world, oil fields. Yep, I was right, oil fields. Nationalize and form OPEC. You got oil production, export infrastructure, and then Anglo trade demand greater stake in the company. So, makes sense. This will probably lead to that balancing act where if you pick one, you might have to make some concessions in your other parts of the tree. Hopefully that's how that works out. British-aligned Iraq will see much of its oil wealth siphoned off in exchange for industrial and military aid. A militarized independent Iraq will need to develop its own petroleum industry, relying on domestic initiatives. Yep, oil is both a blessing and a curse. Relations with Britain, a delicate dance. The defining factor in Iraq's fate will be how you handle your relationship with the British. Every path, monarchist, militarist, nationalist, hinges on whether you can cooperate with London, cautiously distance yourself, or declare open war. Tell the British, and you can leverage their support for Iraq's modernization, resist diplomatically, and you can carve an independent path without bloodshed. Defy them completely, and you can have a better reason to fight. Blah, blah, blah. Final thoughts. Iraq's nation brimming with potential dangers, sandwiched between great powers. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, looks good. I'm very excited. No complaints so far. We didn't get a lot of look at like actual focus. I don't think did we get almost any. Like, we did get, like, the changes of this, but that was about it. So we didn't get a look at a lot of what the focuses actually do. We just got a look at an overview of the trees, which, with here. And then the change to the British Raj. But overall, I like how they look. I don't. This is the Afghani one. I don't think we really did. We get a look at this? I don't think we did. Well, I guess they're not showing everything off, but this all looks pretty good. Gotta say, I don't have many complaints. They all look fairly good. Now, we can see like if these are 70 days and they take forever, how stuff works out. Obviously, there could be plenty of issues we don't know about. But, oh, we didn't even get a look at the Kurdish path. They didn't show that at all, actually. Yeah, they didn't show that. That's a whole thing they didn't show. Okay, so they're definitely keeping some of this stuff on the DL. Makes sense. But I like it. So far, no complaints. We'll have to see how everything goes. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up here. I'll record a video on the dev replies. If there's anything good, I'll probably wait a little bit for that because this dev diary has only just come out. But anyway, I'll see you guys in the next one.